Welcome everyone to my first ever tier list. While I won't be going into all 40 plus individual upgrades, I will go over the best ones for a late game survival mode run. Check out the description below for all of my notes of all the ones I did not include in this video. To avoid repeating the same thing for similar upgrades, I will group upgrades based on what they do and divide them into series. There will be some upgrades that has a tier list based on how impactful it is on each character when compared to other characters. If there is no tier list, then the impact is the same on every character and there is nothing to compare. At the end of the video, there will be an overall tier list of each upgrade that doesn't factor in the impact on individual characters, but how effective the upgrade itself is and how helpful it is on reaching a late game survival mode run. So be sure to grab a drink or snack, like and subscribe because this video will be longer than most. With that out of the way, on to Mastery and Improve series. These are the must-have special upgrades. For the masteries, I do believe they follow the chart. For example, a Bobo's Pound first hit becomes a knock hit, as originally it was a stun hit. One example from a knock hit to a collision knock hit is Jimmy's Dragon's Rage. With the upgrade, Jimmy's final hit will push the enemy straight forward. For synergies, any upgrade that increases damage is great, as more damage means easier to get crowd controls. And also SP Conserver, as it lowers the SP cost to be able to do one more special than before. Dire Strategy is also a great choice, as you have another chance to finish off the enemy if you have HP to lose. Lastly, any upgrade like Standing Ovation that requires a crowd control to activate is great with the Improve series, as you are already going for a crowd control, so these upgrades are icing on the cake. These are great and recommended for every character, as it's a prerequisite to gain the invulnerability upgrade of their respective specials. Invulnerability is always welcome in all stages of the game. Let's go to the Crowd Control series. These require a crowd control or a special KO for their effect to activate, and are among the best upgrades you can get for any character in the game for fighting mobs of enemies. They all synergize well with each other and with other upgrades that increase special damage to help create more crowd controls. SP Conserver also goes well as it lowers the SP cost, enabling to do one more special than before. Dire Strategy is also a great choice, as you have another chance to do another crowd control if you have HP to spare. Going into Adrenaline. As soon as you perform a crowd control, the special meter will automatically refill, letting you continue to spam specials. Crowd Lover is the health version of Adrenaline while recovering the recoverable HP. Standing Ovation knocks down all enemies when doing a crowd control. Ketchup fully recover the SP gauge when eating food. With this, you can recover HP from food and the SP meter from Ketchup's effect at the same time, which is great because sometimes you may not have enough HP to use Dire Strategy. Soul Food recover 2 HP for every special KO, and sometimes just better than picking up the food found on the floor, as you don't have to put yourself at risk to pick it up. Spirit Rush. When SP KO chains are above 8 chains, the damage is increased by 50%. The damage increase only affects melee moves, and the 50% damage is calculated after all other upgrades are factored in. Knowing this, characters that rely on range damage like Marian and Willy will not be able to use Spirit Rush, unless you have Devil's Stare and Dying Breath and built them to do melee damage, as usually characters with multi-hit moves are favored, as each hit will be boosted, especially having Devil's Stare, and it's a free 30 damage per hit, just Devil's Stare and Spirit Rush factored in. Next up, the High Risk, High Reward series. These are among the best late game upgrades, but they come at a cost. They all have great synergy with each other and other damage increasing upgrades, plus crowd control based upgrades work very well with the High Risk, High Reward series. Let's talk about Devil's Stare first. Devil's Stare increases melee damage by 20, but reduce max HP by 50%. Characters with melee multi-hit moves will benefit greatly from Devil's Stare, like Linda, the 3 Lees, and 2 Chen, to name a few. With being a high-risk upgrade, it's recommended to take if you're in late game where the enemies will one-shot you anyways, or if you're at the point where you're able to play fight without getting hit often. Interestingly enough, Anubis's Eye of Anubis does 0 damage, but with Devil's Dare, each hit will do 20 damage, and there is 5 hits. So it's 100 damage for a special that can be done twice in a combo naturally without any upgrades, and that's just insane. Same goes for Burnoff, which is why I'm rating Anubis really high, as this becomes his fastest damage dealing crowd control move that is quite safe, while Willy has no melee multi-hit moves to even consider taking Devil's Dare. Dire strategy. When SP is not ready, expend HP to perform special move. While this is great to constantly spam specials, there is a limit to how much health you can use up. It costs 15 HP each and need at least 30 HP to be able to use it. The risk for using this upgrade is actually the least detrimental of the 3 in this category, as it's a small price to pay for another chance to use specials. Survival Instinct, Self-Care, Self-Love, and Soul Survivor synergizes well as they help regenerate the HP lost naturally from using Dire Strategy. Every character can take advantage of another chance to do specials, making this an easy pick. Dying Breath. When health is below 20%, damage increases by 50. The damage calculation portion is different from the other upgrades. This is more like Spirit Rush, where the total damage without Dying Breath is calculated first. Then, Dying Breath increases that final damage by 50%, making this valuable for late game. With Dire Strategy, it's easier to reach the HP threshold of Dying Breath. Also, if you have both Dying Breath and Spirit Rush activated at the same time, first all of the upgrades are added in together for the final damage, then Dying Breath will activate to increase that damage by 50%. Then Spirit Rush's 50% will go on top of that, making the damage scale really high. Next up, the Movement Series. These are upgrades where some kind of movement action is required to activate them. Movement speed and preventing the enemy from attacking you go hand in hand with the goal of not getting hit, making these great synergies with each other. Let's talk about Pop Star first. When double jump or recover from a knock hit, push back all nearby enemies, which is very helpful for characters without a mid-air special or a safe attack to reach the ground safely when jumping or recovering from a knock hit, though it seems to only affect enemies near the ground and not the ones in mid-air. For synergies, Superhero Entry can cause another layer of stunning if landing near enemies stunned by Pop Star. Superhero Entry. Stun nearby enemies with a heavy break or land. This causes a small shockwave that stuns nearby enemies when running for a while, or a double jump. This also works for characters with a heavy landing, like Jimmy's Dragon Claw, and Marian's mid-air side special, to name a few. Superhero Entry is great for characters without a mid-air special, as they can land safely, then their landing will be safe for nearby enemies as well. Quick Feet. This reduces the end lag when landing from running for a while or double jumping to be able to move quicker. For synergies, it can stack with other variants of Quick Feet, but the difference isn't that much greater though. Superhero Entry is great as the break and land duration from Quick Feet, giving more time to reposition if the enemy gets affected by Superhero Entry. This is a must-have for everyone, as being able to act faster increases your chances of survival. Let's talk about the Tag Out series. While there is a second upgrade that requires tagging out to activate, we're just going over the one that is more relevant for a late game run, Tag Out Force. When tagging out, knock down nearby enemies to give your tag partner a safe entry. This is just like Pop-Up Star, but better if you're swapping to a character with no aerial special or have bad aerials to get to the ground safely. Also suffers from the same issues as Self-Care if your partner is defeated. Lastly, Stackable Series. These upgrades have another version of themselves and can stack if gained on the same run. So let's start out with Armstrong. Increases the damage of all knock melee hits by 5. So range knock damage specials and attacks won't benefit, like Marian's Rocket, Anubis' Lightning Strike, and Willy's Spray Shot, to name a few. For synergies, all variants of Armstrong will stack with each other. Also, Dying Breath and Spirit Rush will also help Armstrong be a bit more effective. Characters with melee multi-hit knock damage moves like Chin Seimei's roll attack would benefit the most, as each knock hit will be increased by 5 or multiples of 5 depending on how many Armstrongs are stacked. Healthy Lifestyle. Increases maximum health by 15. So far I only seen 3, and that's a total of 45 health bonus. Synergizes well with Dire Strategy, as this literally gives you another chance to use another special per upgrade. Can also help improve the Survival Instinct series, as the 50% HP threshold would increase to a more safe number to prevent a one-hit KO, especially the bulkier characters. All characters would benefit to more health any day, and it is better to have more stacks than just one to feel the difference. Move Specialist increases SP auto regeneration by 100%. This upgrade is great for starters, as it allows you to make mistakes when using specials that ends up not crowd controlling the enemy, and during late game there are higher chances your special cannot one-shot the enemy anymore, and this adds another layer of insurance if avoiding the enemy is possible. For synergies, Survival Instinct Move Specialist can stack together for a very fast recharge, especially when you don't have enough health to use Dire Strategy for another special. SP Conserve, reduce all special moves by 50%. This is the bread and butter for specials that takes up more than half of the special meter, as this can give another chance to every character to do 2 specials when they were unable to. Synergizes well with Crowd Control Series, the Mastery and Improved Series, and the High Risk High Reward Series. Self-Love, recoverable HP regenerates over time without being tagged out. This is much better than Self-Care, as this can be used while your partner is defeated. This also synergizes well with Dire Strategy to recover some of the HP lost from using it. Survival Instinct, Self-Care, and Soul Survivor also stacks with Self-Love. The health regeneration will go up 2 ticks instead of 1. The best of the natural HP regeneration, as this has no condition to activate. For the overall tier list with the mindset of going for a long run and having 2 characters alive, with all things considered, here it is. The upgrade that I spoke of the most is Dire Strategy, as doing specials at the cost of HP can be gained back from crowd controls, and is game breaking and, in my opinion, hands down the best single standalone upgrade in the game. Even though the crowd control series are amazing, they aren't as amazing when facing 6 bosses or one-on-one fights in late game survival mode, so I lowered their rankings from S tier. As for everything else not in S tier or A tier, they are more supportive upgrades that either need stacks or relies on other upgrades to make them shine. And that's it for this video. Let us know in the comments below your thoughts on this list and how would you rate the upgrades.